This is Sandy Alt reporting from the wild, and this is the audio podcast companion to my blog on Substack. This is episode 27, Piece of My Heart. If ever there were a vivid picture of what is happening to our democracy in the United States today, we have it now. Without permission or consultation, the yam-faced avarice addict began taking revenge on the people's house this week because it's not gaudy or glitzy or gilded enough, not billionaire enough, not his enough. He wanted to mark it with his own foul excreta, declaring it not ours, not history's, nor the country's.
What did he say? I am your retribution?
His retribution, more like. This is his vengeance for us not making him king. He will make a palace for himself and perch there for as long as he likes. The moment the demolition retribution images appeared on media and online, one could almost hear a stunned, heart-arresting gasp reverberate across the country, an effect on the people much like seeing the shock waves from Trinity mushrooming in the high desert. All at once, we Americans knew everything has changed. I felt a visceral blow in my chest. This is another piece of our heart he's trying to destroy.
If anyone doubts whether it's time to take the gloves off to do whatever we can to save democracy, the image of a backhoe taking a bite out of the White House at the behest of Don Corleone might dissolve any indecision.
And yet, there still are so many who acquiesce to whatever the orange obscenity does. I have spent much of the past 2 years in Paul Revere mode, trying to warn and awaken people. Like many of you, I have devoted an immense amount of time, talent, and resources to this. I am wondering now if we might just have to let the people who voted Trump into office have a taste of what they voted for. Unfortunately, this would afflict us all unfairly, but it might be the antidote we need. Congressional Repedocans have no interest in negotiating to end the shutdown, especially if it means releasing the Epstein files. Maybe it's better to let their fascist farce continue until perhaps the suffering from the heightened cost or the end of their health care will turn zombie-brained voters back from the dark side. Or maybe it will take crashing the market or completely depleting the U.S. Treasury into the commander-in-chief's bloated coffers.
Money. Or possibly we will all need to endure something even worse than that. How much will the innocent citizenry have to suffer before maggots change their minds?
One thing I learned from working as a wildland firefighter is that people really take a lesson from the imminent threat and/or consequences of disaster, when everything they have and those they love are in the direct path of the blaze. Time and again, I have seen endangered communities rally together to save whatever they can, to take care of one another, and to provide support for those fighting the fire. Many who suffer losses undergo profound change. After a wildfire, the residents of an area that survived begin to take responsibility for cleanup, mitigation, and creating defensible space, often for the first time. Those that witness and suffer destruction and real impact on their livelihoods and neighborhoods often create stronger or new local governance. Some even become committed to planning or service, to stewardship of natural resources, to climate action. It's uncanny how the near or real cost of what we hold dear will motivate people to change. My own career as a wildland firefighter grew out of this kind of experience. In July of 2002, our rural mountain valley was directly in the path of the Big Elk fire. A towering smoke column rose above the ridge behind our cabin. Our small local volunteer fire department served out of a house then, with a mere handful of guys on the squad. I went down to see if I could help. Right away, I saw that they needed someone to handle information. As the threat deepened, the assistant chief began to schedule frequent community briefings. I worked to get information from the Type 2 incident management team and to coordinate with them. I later became a rookie on our volunteer squad, and after a few years of training and experience, I joined that same Type 2 team in responding to incidents across the West. Our local fire department grew as more folks joined and trained. Later, the Valley residents went on to raise funds for and build a real fire station. These good things came out of shared threat and the very real disaster that was the Big Elk Fire, an incident that involved 2 aerial firefighting accidents and claimed the lives of 3 pilots. The fire spurred changes all along the Little Thompson River and the Estes Valley, and more than that, in the people who lived there. Now, mind you, I don't advocate for devastation, damage, and harm. As with a destructive wildfire, the challenges of restoration are immense. The scars are long-lasting, and regrowth is slow and uncertain. Some losses will be permanent, but loss can also be renewing.
The indigenous people of this continent knew that fire could be beneficial for the land. They used what is now termed cultural burning to promote biodiversity, enhance food sources, and prevent catastrophic wildfires. And they knew that some trees and seeds need smoke, heat, and fire to germinate. They knew that, when managed, fire cleared the understory so that the health of forests could be preserved and increased. They understood that controlled fire could clear invasive plants and pests and restore ecological balance.
We are in the midst of the decimation of our democracy. While the Democrats in Congress stand strong to insist upon restoring protections for health care and other benefits stripped from the people by the One Big Billionaire's Benefit Package bill, I support their unity. But I also wonder if it's inevitable that we are going to have to endure even more serious consequences in order to restore sanity and a commitment to democracy among the people. Like those species of trees that need the torridity from a fire to regenerate, maybe the MAGA-minded need to feel the heat from the kleptocrats' inferno advancing on their rights and freedoms, their privileges, and their assets to awaken them to the danger so many of us have been seeing and shouting about for some time now. I hope we are not in for too much more conflagration in our constitutional democracy. I hope we don't have to lose everything for a true and decisive majority of the people to come to their senses and stand to defend justice, the rule of law, and the principles of equality and freedom, of self-governance and unity. And I hope we are not too late. At the same time, I am part of a new volunteer threat response squad now, and you are too. We stand, arms locked, with our friends and neighbors as we all try to prepare in every way we possibly can for what may come. We have formed a vast network of people who are committed to spreading the truth in hopes of suppressing the blast furnace of lies blazing from the brainwashing cartel. We are engaged in citizen activism at the local level and beyond.
This is commonly when people come together, when the smoke and the heat and the flames come toward us. This is when people commit their time and their talents to help one another in a myriad of ways. When we look into one another's eyes and join together to save whatever we can, to support those fighting on the front lines defending our democracy, and to begin to think about how we will have to change to ensure we never face an arson event like this again.
So, His Majesty took another little piece of our hearts this week, baby. Now what are we going to do?
First of all, we hold. We keep at it. We keep believing. We keep working, because this is not over. In my lifetime, among other milestones, the Vietnam War ended in 1975. The Berlin Wall came down in 1989. The Good Friday Agreement in 1993 arrested 3 decades of conflict in Northern Ireland. Apartheid's discriminatory laws in South Africa were repealed in 1994. In 1995, the Dayton Accords ended the Bosnian War. After 9/11, we hunted down Osama bin Laden and ceased his reign of terror. If we are bold enough to hope that there might ever be a Democratic president in the structure at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue again, the party, the president, and the people should all be committed to raising the Mar-a-Lago ballroom and returning all the grounds, including the former Rose Garden, now a paved-over pedo patio, to their pre-fascist state. I believe that Dems should up the ante right now and not go back to the table under the current terms they've set. They should not let the Repedocans come back and agree to the health care cuts restoration. That would give the R's ownership of that reprieve for Americans. Instead, we should demand statehood for D.C., a return to congressional legislative power that would be gained by those additional seats in the U.S. House. And at the state level, Dems should be prepared to do whatever it takes as well. Red states redistrict to get more Republican seats. We redistrict to get more blue seats. We pass laws to prohibit ICE using masks and not wearing identification, and orders to keep body cams on. We redouble our efforts to protect our free and fair elections in our states in 2026, and we get ready to take back our democracy.
We need our own Project Democracy plan, one that will enforce accountability upon those who have enabled and participated in tearing down justice, freedom, decency, integrity, and self-governance during this despotic deviation. While we may not be able, thanks to the corruption of SCOTUS, to prosecute the phony soprano in the White House for his crimes, we can make sure that everyone who helped him achieve the heartbreak we are suffering now is held accountable.
And we can present the Nostradamus with a bill for damages once we've ousted him from the people's house. Of course, he'll fail to pay. But won't it be grand to watch the backhoe take a big bite out of Mar-a-Lago and the Trump Towers and golf courses when we claim them for reparations? Last time, I asked you to conjure hope. Today, I ask you to conjure belief and strength. When they tore down the east wing of the White House, it was symbolic of the damage already underway. Maybe it was always going to take that to turn the people around who voted for this. But we who did not vote for this are still here, working, giving, creating, defending democracy. And I choose to believe in us, in you. I choose the strength we show when we care for one another, help one another, protect one another, join together in joy and sorrow, and when we stand together in protest. You are an important piece of my heart. This has been Sandy Alt reporting from the wild. Every week or so, I publish a written blog, and then, a few days after, I produce a podcast version like this one. You can read and subscribe to the companion blog to this podcast at sandyalt.substack.com. If you navigate there, you'll see a photo of the giant smoke column from the Big Elk fire towering in the sky above our mountain cabin. And a special treat, you'll see a short reel of Zuni, our young wolf companion, when he was just 8 weeks old. I want to thank these voiceover artists from my production team for lending their prodigious talents to this podcast. Stephanie Currington, Sheila Allred, and George Jackson. And if you want more stories from the wild, look for my Wild Mystery series in book, audiobook, and ebook. You can start with any book in the series and go wild.